Greetings, you collections of drones masquerading as a person, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Alathrex, and of course, welcome back to the adventure mode. In today's episode, what we're going to be focusing on almost completely is finally building some drones, or at least one type of drone, which relies almost solely on bulk damage, because currently everything we're using right now is all about just disabling targets and weakening them up, which has honestly served us pretty well, but now we're fighting much larger targets. We need to have more of a mix of our damage types. So what I'm thinking about doing is removing our planes, because as much as I love them, they are going down every time someone even looks at them at the moment, and also removing our helicopter and building one new, much larger drone, probably similar size to our hovercraft, which once again uses plasma, but now with way more charges and way more damage. In addition to that, we need to finally upgrade the mothership. Currently, it only has radars and sonar, which is feeding into all of the other drones. We should really also have a lot more regular detection on it, so that way, if our drones start taking damage and they start losing all of their detection pieces, there is a nice backup. I do still like the drones having their own detection though, since a lot of them can actually feed into each other as well, such as the hovercraft. They do have the inter-vehicle transmitter, so hopefully, when it's all done, better main vehicle, much larger flyer, and then we can move on further. We're currently at difficulty 35. If we end up on 60 today, I'll be incredibly happy. So I'll be right back once I've started work on our new drones. It also means it's time to finally retire the helicopters and the planes, which is just kind of sad. So, just as like a blueprint here, this is a bit of a scaffolding. I'm thinking this kind of size. So the volume's probably going to be about 2 or 3 times that of the old copters, which is really good for plasma. I don't think plasma's the most efficient in terms of cost for its damage, but of course it's the new weapon, and thus the new weapon I want to use. In addition to that, I think I'll have enough space for a couple of anti-munition systems similar to the hovercraft, which has saved themselves multiple times, so I can only imagine having one more set. Really good. Missiles are becoming more and more common, so more anti-missile stuff is really good. Plus we can start putting in some anti-laser stuff, although we haven't seen that yet. That's gotta be just around the corner. Okay, back to work. Bit wider, I think. About this high. Okay, so I think I have the general idea. Ignore the blade on the top, I'm gonna add a blade here and here instead. We're gonna have missile systems along the wings, either normal missiles or anti-missiles, not too sure just yet. Then have a hollow section of the wing, which will be for the blades. The blades will be both roll and our pusher, so which actually keeps us in the air. At the back, we'll have the turning and pitch. I'll add some extra pitch to the front just in case the back gets knocked off. I really want this thing to have a lot of redundancy. The problem with the old copters is that it had absolutely no redundancy, so if one section got eradicated, it would just fall to the ocean. This is going to be too expensive for that. So backups are going to be needed. Maybe even just a regular jet at the bottom to keep this thing aloft if the rotors get taken out. Yeah, I still think this needs to be wider here. It looks a bit too... I don't even know, just not quite what I have in mind in my head. But I think it's getting there. The water's a bit rougher now. We are getting close to a finished design, at least the shell anyway. So I'm thinking propellers for moving forwards and backwards. These are more going to be for roll than anything else. I have a jet at the bottom. Ignore the placement of everything on the innards, by the way. I'm going to try and add as much armor as possible up to about here, and try and add as much armor in the core here and everything else, so that everything vital is nice and protected. The jet will be the main propulsion to stay in the air, so that can be nice and tucked away into the armor as well. And then we have to start talking about weapons. I want it to be plasma, but I did some testing in the Sandbox mode before coming back here, and I don't know if I want to do plasma with this vehicle. Because what I would love is a burst of plasma, so like 10 shots of size 10. So that means 10 of the charges all shot in a burst of 10. So lots of 10s to get through the enemy armor and do some core damage. And I don't think I can fit it in this thing while still keeping it armored. Meaning, I'm tempted to have this as a heavy missile carrier. I know I'm sure people are getting sick of missiles already, but large missiles, and maybe even a huge missile in the future, but large missiles this early on can be devastating. Especially in combination with the cruise missiles of the submarines, that will overwhelm a lot of anti-munition defense. I've been armoring this thing up over and over and over again at the moment, and I think it's going to be incredibly sturdy. It should also be very quick. So the idea is, this runs ahead in front of everything else, and it'll be able to take several nasty hits before going down. It has anti-missiles. I'm going to put some anti-laser stuff in it very soon. At the moment, it's just using a whole host of cruise missiles. Really pretty nasty medium missiles. I will, once I have the resources, add a couple of large missiles as well, then that'll probably be the total armament, or I may add a small plasma cannon or a couple of small plasma cannons similar to the old copters just to do a little bit of more instantaneous damage. We are really close to being done at this point. It's a lot bigger than I expected, but it is mostly just armor. It's not what I originally intended, but I think it's going to be really fun. Oh, a Kraken! I haven't seen one of you in a very long time. Now, annoyingly, you do have some really good anti-missile stuff, so hopefully the heat, yep, is starting to break some stuff. We are also firing plasma from our new vehicle. Actually, no, I don't think we are, because I didn't turn it on yet, because we got attacked a little bit earlier there. Seems like it's focusing all of its fire on our new plane, which is very lovingly proving it can really take a few hits. Considering that's its new purpose. Super happy with that. Yet just layers of armor everywhere with some space armor in the center. That thing took the entire Kraken's burst without stopping its flight. So we are almost done with this thing. It's coming up to about 75,000 resources. It's probably going to be about 80 to 85 by the end. I'm just adding the extra plasma and then armoring up these two side sections. Then I'm going to say this thing's done. So it has cruise missiles, a ridiculous amount of defense, and then 2 plasma cannons, which are both about the equivalent of one of the helicopters. They hold 25 charges each. They fire in 10 charge bursts and then reload. The old planes were doing 8 charge bursts. So yeah, it's about 2 and a bit planes each. And that's gonna be it. By planes, of course, I mean the old copters. Hey everyone, Future Lathrix here, as is tradition with these From the Depths videos, so I really do hope you enjoy this one. Once again, these videos have been such a blast to record, although they're not the usual full play. Now, like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by that sneeze, although this is not the usual full playthrough style we're used to now on the channel, I think breaking it up into this series was the right call, because what I've been able to do is build way more designs than any of the other full playthroughs by far, and it has been such a fun experience. At least it has for me, and I really do hope it has been for you as well, although sadly it does seem like YouTube is punishing me with the algorithm at the moment, because it really doesn't like when YouTubers change their style. But thanks to all the interactions, the comments and likes and the support, I have been able to continue this series, so thank you so much. It also means I don't have to make shorts. And you know what? That's a blessing all by itself. So, against the shorts and for the longer videos, I really do hope you enjoy, and now back to the past. Making even weirder designs. Is that a... yeah, it's a Lightning Hoods Flyer. Whoa, I think one heat shell may have just taken that out. That was very small compared to some of the other things we've been fighting, and I'm completely okay with that. Actually hitting with the plasma this time, which is lovely to see. It won't do much damage, but the idea is it just hits it nice and quickly. There you go. In fact, actually, that's a good chunk. And here comes the missiles, just out of range. Of course, they fire just as we started the fight. Some enemies are spawned so far away, and I'm not going to make missiles go that long a range, because it's just sacrificing so much of their potential damage. I feel very bad for this thing, because it did spawn so far away, it never had a chance to broadside. It's just missing its entire face. So once it's in range, what this thing should do is rock forwards and backwards and move up and down quite a bit. We could have it strafe, but I prefer this. I find this more useful in actually dodging things. And, okay. Lovely. Note to self, detection still needs to be better for our plasma. Anyway. One of these things with a huge, like, globe in the center. Okay, those missiles are from our subs. Sadly, our aircraft was a bit too far away since we just fought something absolutely tiny. There we go, they're from the aircraft. Do way more damage there. We really do have a lovely mix right now of internal damage and also a lot of external damage. So I'm thinking we build one more of the aircraft, which does look like a VTOL, but isn't, and then we will likely build an actual true plasma craft, which only uses plasma and is a bit bigger. Still, the heat's doing fantastic, so is everything else. What I'm going to do is absorb this resource zone here. I won't take both, then I'm going through the red portal to difficulty 40. I think we're in a really good position right now. Oh, a swarm! I don't know how we're going to do versus a swarm, honestly. Well, the missiles are all going to go towards the main craft. It looks like our cannons are aiming at the small ones and not necessarily seeing them that well. Oh yeah, forgot I have you set to pitch towards target. I have no idea if we're doing well or not, to be completely honest. Some anti-air would be so nice right now. A single shell does seem to destabilize them a lot. It also looks like they're aiming at me quite a bit. Oh yes, so I decided to actually go for the second resource zone because I want to build this thing huge. Does it give me any combat capabilities? No, but it will make me happier. Yeah, looks like their drones just really weren't strong enough to take out the tank of an aircraft I have and everything else.
Engaging now.
Please, cannons, start firing at the Barracuda itself. Maybe aim at its core, not this little underside bit, that would be great. Wow, the anti-missiles on the Barracuda are really good. Yep, this thing is designed to just take damage and keep on flying. And that's exactly what it did. Okay, so I think I'm getting the overall shape of this thing. It's going to take a long time though before it looks proper. Just accept the fact it looks like an angry ironing board at the moment, because that's what it looks like. So the front and the back are going to be their own little docks. These are going to be for the hovercraft. The sides eventually will be converted to hold the subs and actually make it look like they're holding the submarines. Not sure where our pseudo VTOL is going to go at the moment, but this will be a proper runway, because what I want to build next is some replacement jets. So the original little planes were 2,200 resource, something ridiculous like that. The new ones I still want to be cheap, but 10,000 or so. So it's still cheaper than the old helicopters, and I want at least 4 or 5 along this runway, and then we can just throw them off during a fight. And as you can see, eventually I want a little comms tower over here. So it's all planned, it's just gonna take a while because that's how adventure mode works. You're always in the middle section of building. Oh, why does every plane look better than my plane? Oh, I love this design. I'm not taking screenshots right now for future designs. I'm fairly certain that the aircraft I built over there is actually somewhat based on one of the Steel Striders. I don't know what it's called, but they do have a VTOL, which I've seen in the adventure mode before, and I swear that's what I was going off in my head. This is the Albatross. Ooh, not much anti-missile stuff. Oh, and the heat just carved it up. It's like I've said before, heat can be countered, but if you don't counter it, it can just be life-changing. Really cool looking jet though. Too big for our purposes though. Oh my god, look at you. The Cosmos. Or Cosmos. It kind of looks like silly eyes, which I'm sure are about to absolutely devastate me. Why are the missiles doing such a bad job tracking them? Oh my god, that was... What? Yeah, shotgun railgun at point blank range. Oh, that looks like a shot through the... I'm sorry, but that might be my YouTube thumbnail. I have never... Print screen? I have never seen such a YouTube thumbnail just given to me from the depths before. Please still fly. If you still... Yes, fight back! 'Tis but a flesh wound. The problem is I like my flesh. Oh, I think the heat rounds and the missiles have done something, unless it is intentionally doing this to dodge, which is kind of working if that's the case. Look at that! Oh, I love it. Well done, that craft. They have made adventure mode so much harder, in my opinion. They could just be because I'm using small drones and it's one large craft, which tends to be the stronger way of fighting. That was so cool. Come on, heat shells, hit something vital. I'm seeing absolutely nothing falling out, so it could be protected versus heat. Again, I'm not sure why the missiles are having such a tough time tracking. I wonder if it has any distractors built in. Or did it drop some radars? I'm not sure. Those missiles should not be having such a tough time. Oh no, the plane did end up falling into the sub. Wow, that was some bad luck. What are the odds of that? So I was looking back at the footage, and yeah, all the missiles seem to go either directly above or directly below the enemy. So I really think how it was defending itself, if we go back to our craft for a second, is defense. They were using, if I can actually find them, there we go, the radar decoys. I think they were on the top and the bottom of the craft, maybe hidden by decorations. Because all of the missiles were sliding over and under it. Now thankfully, the few missiles that hit apparently caught it out, and then the heat did the rest, so he still got out of that victorious, and just wow. So I think the jet will probably hit about 30k instead. I think it's better just to have 2 or 3 of them rather than 5 or 6 of the cheaper ones. So what I'm thinking is 2 sets of medium missiles, or even small missiles, 2 plasma cannons, which are the main weapons here, and then just have it run towards the target, get to a certain distance, fire everything, run away, repeat, 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 repeat. And these should make good distractions, they'll be moving very erratically, and should hopefully take some of the heat away from our other vehicles. And with the plasma cannons being okay-ish, because they're going to be mostly focused on more chambers. Chambers are a lot cheaper, they hold more shots, and so you can fire a burst. The generators give you more shots over time, but are more expensive, so the idea I'm going with is a burst of shots, run away, reload slowly, then do another attack run. Then those bursts should hopefully go through the armor, opening up to the larger missiles and the heat and everything else that we have from our other craft. Everybody, can we have a really cool jet? Lathrix, we have a really cool jet at home. The jet at home. The screenshot I took that I wanted to try and copy, I overwrit with the thumbnail screenshot, and I did not remember what that vehicle was called, so I'm trying my best not to look at the footage. I'm trying to build it from memory, and it's like it's got googly eyes. What is this squished little creature? Oh, so clearly I think it must have had custom jets. That made sense. In fact, I'm tempted to do that so we don't need battery storage. Oh no, we are going to need battery storage because we need plasma anyway. Honestly, I don't think it would be too bad if it wasn't for the plasma at the front looking like snail eyes. This submarine has a particle cannon melee weapon, and it was going after our flyer. Not really entirely sure why it was, but it was. So I have no idea if this thing's gonna work, and I think I'm gonna take one of those opportunities to go into the sandbox mode, because I actually don't hate how this has turned out. It looks like a chubbier, sillier version of the original. I want to go and find the original and see how close I've got. I know in terms of controls and weapons I'm miles off, but this is only 30,000, that thing costs like 100k. I think this is just a really cheapo version of that. It's like a knockoff, and I'm okay with that. I tend to try and make things just either completely from memory, which I'm sure has some inspiration, or just completely made up, hence why most of my craft look absolutely bizarre. On the few times I've just tried to remember something completely and copy it. See, in my head I'm not far off, but I'm absolutely miles away. Oh, also I built sideways twice and had to copy and paste the thing. So, I'll be back in the sandbox mode to test out if this thing works. In theory, it should. I'm not even close. Oh, look how much longer the front is. Why did I think it was so much more squished? Wings are much longer as well. I think the center, yeah, in terms of proportions, miles off, but okay, that's fine. You know what? At least I know I made it unique and special. Okay, it flies okay. It's actually going 72 meters per second. It just seems slow because it's a giant lump of armor, but still. Okay, look, there's a Jacob's Folly over there. Currently have the plasma set to rapid fire rather than that burst, and well, pretty nice versus a light target like that. Okay. That was alright. 64,000 damage from the explosive, 30,000 from the plasma, and then it runs away once it gets too close. It'll just keep on doing that over and over again. It's 36,000 resources for the final version. I think a few timing changes are needed, but other than that, pretty happy. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Next vehicle, I swear, won't be plasma or missiles. I'm thinking cram cannon or particle cannon or laser or anything else. Cool. I'm actually quite happy with this blob. Oh look, a normal vehicle. Good. Okay, that normally doesn't happen because normally I only release them during combat, and in combat this thing moves forwards. But these three just release in this lovely circle pattern, which is great. I was going to have them all facing forwards, you know, have them uniform and actually looking more decent, but this is going to be a much safer way to hold them. So there we go, our new jets. 3 jets, and our new tanky helicopter VTOL plane thing. I mean, it is a VTOL because it does have the jets at the bottom, but anyway, let's continue forwards. And we need a red portal, honestly, so that's what I'm going to be looking out for. Let's see if we can get to at least difficulty 50 by the end of the video. Or 45, it depends how many fights we're in, honestly. So little progress in so many hours. I'm so glad I made this into more of a Let's Play style, because I have no idea how long the full video would have been. Maybe like 4 hours plus. Oh, and straight away, an enemy nonetheless. Let's go. Please don't hit me. Yes, lovely. See, everything's all nice and elegant. So the early plasma has hit the target already. I've still kept it as only single charge instead, just because I want to see how that does all versus the larger targets. Whoa, look at you. The Ascension and a load of these things. Wow, now that's a proper drone squad. He's hoping to start making some good hits soon. Oh, yep, 1 down already, lovely. Hoping that was the plasma and not just it hitting one of its friends, because I would like to score at least 1 kill. Okay, has some anti-missile stuff, but not quite enough. Lots of explosions on the undercarriage there. Oh, that looks cool. I'm sorry, but that actually looks pretty cool from a distance. Our anti-missile stuff doing a little bit there. Okay, going backwards like it should. Almost crashing into each other. I've just realised I haven't set them with different combat parameters, so that's going to be fun. Okay, it's taking a cram shot and still going. Yep, the plasma's going as well. Missile scoring a lot of hits. EMP not taking it out. Lovely. The other 2 planes are still going even though they crashed into each other. Our cannon drones are firing away. In fact, could you please change target? You're currently firing at something underwater, which, not great. There we go. These things are so neat. They're just floating guns, and I love that. The plane's keeping distance from it. Yep, taking crams, absolutely fine. Well, although the planes are a bit derpy and actually crashed into each other, at least we've proven they're tanky enough to take a few hits from multiple sources. I quite like the little plasma hits, honestly. It is stacking up quite a bit of damage to take off little bits here and there, so I think I'll leave it like that. It's more visually appealing. They should also be able to be fully functional without their back tails. The back tails is mostly just for looks. Oh no, why did the plane end up going down? The copter, the whatever you want to call it. What hit you? Okay, well I'm going to quickly check the damage on that thing, see what happened. Still, it was a decisive victory on our part, most of our vehicles still up and running. But now I need to figure out what happened to you. I'm not too sure what it is, but it did get the first hit. Oh, one of these again. Well, just so vulnerable to the heat shells. Difficulty 45, and this is our first enemy. Kinda looks like it's facing the wrong way, which is interesting. Ooh, look at you! The Nimbus! Okay, the plasma's hitting. Can't really see what else, though. Okay, the heat is now making contact. Please go for those weapons, that'd be great. Okay, it has distraction sticks. Thankfully our missiles weren't distracted. Oh, and something just really went up. I'm assuming it's that nasty cannon on the front, or at least... if it was that, it's still firing. Maybe it had all the safety stuff attached. I wonder what it's actually firing at. Can't really tell. Not the copter. Is it firing at the subs? That can't be the case. It must be firing something else. Oh, our little copter here is being hit a lot, but it's still in the air, which I really love. That copter has to be one of my favourite things I've built in a long time. It's just so ridiculously sturdy. I was hoping it doesn't fire at the two heat cannons. This thing costing so much would be so good for us. It also makes me feel less bad that some of our craft got a bit more expensive than originally intended. I think currently our fleet is at about 250 to 300k. But we are fighting enemies worth 500, so I don't feel too bad about that right now. Just not used to seeing such large enemies in the lower difficulties. I say lower difficulty, is difficulty 45 now, but normally these are things I expect to see at like 70. But the rebalance has been a thing. Please stop firing there, all those fragments are going to waste. This bit here, the core. I wish I could tell them where to fire. Oh, look at our copter, technically still in the air, even though I think it's been partially lobotomized. Looks like a win though, the enemy isn't fighting back anymore, so we've definitely broken its spirit. Victory! And the copter thing is still in the air. Okay, I need to ask everyone, what should I even call this? It's such a weird hybrid of things in my eyes. Lovely. Okay, everyone return. So I lost nothing. I think one of the planes was damaged. The copter thing was obviously badly damaged. Oh, it was aiming at one of the cannons, and one of the cannons has been hollowed out. The subs are fine, I'm assuming? Yes, the subs add so little to these fights, but also never get taken out. They're just little bits of support. Well, I'll be calling it here, but please bear in mind, after difficulty 50, the game is still apparently a little bit unbalanced and still in progress of being balanced, so things are going to get really weird from here on out, probably even scary enemies being thrown at us very, very quickly. I know there's still a lot of godlies from the Scarlet Dawn and the Steel Striders and everything else, which are honestly absolutely terrifying. And Grey Talons. Yeah, there's a lot of things I'm very scared of, especially for our little fleet here, so our fleet's likely going to get a lot larger, a lot faster after this episode. I really do hope you've enjoyed, and if you have, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff, helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. I'm happy with my designs, but ain't they weird?